Wow. What's up, the John Squad? This is John Pillion here, your YouTube World Heresy Champion here on YouTube, and I'm coming to you today with my WWE Monday Night Raw review for March 4th, 2019. So let's do the Shout of the John Squad. So we kicked off WWE Monday Night Raw last night with Roman Reigns, and he talks about last week that was the comeback, and that this week in Philly, they were in Philadelphia last night, that we take our yard back. That's what he talks about. So then he calls out his buddy Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins talks to Roman about last week, and that he's going to take his inspiration, and he is going to slay the beast at WrestleMania. But then he says that Roman Reigns knows how it feels like to vacate the Universal Championship and lose it to Brock Lesnar. That's how he feels like, how the way he had it vacated and then lose the title to Brock Lesnar. But then he says that he deserves another chance to face Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. That's what Seth Rollins says. So then Roman Reigns says that if he can do him one chance, that is his two. The Seth Rollins is to one last dance is to bring the band back together one last time, and that is to reunite the Shield for one last time. So that's what he says. So Seth Rollins says, let's do it one last time. So then they call out Dean Ambrose, and Dean Ambrose appears on the stage. Dean Ambrose is about to give his answers, but wait. Elias comes out, and out from behind is Elias, and whacks Dean Ambrose from behind with the guitar, and that's what happens in that segment with Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins just looking at Dean Ambrose's heads to the back, and that's what happens there. So then the first match on Raw was Finn Balor, Kurt Angle, and Braun Strowman versus Bobby Lashley, Baron Corbin, and Drew McIntyre. And the winners was Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, and Baron Corbin. After the match, Bobby Lashley, Baron Corbin, and Drew McIntyre beat up on Finn Balor and Kurt Angle, and they used the steel steps on Finn Balor and Kurt Angle. And that's what happens in that match. And the second match on Raw was Natalya versus Ruby Riott, and the winner was Natalya. And then after this match was over, apparently Lacey Evans comes and just struts her way down to the ring, and then struts her way back up to the back, and that's what happens to win that whole entire thing. And I bet you that's just really ridiculous what Lacey Evans does. And Corey Graves made a funny comment about Bryce Harper, and I just laughed about that too. Then we had the Saturday Night Live guys that were there. I don't even know what their names were, but it was pretty funny. They had a whole funny backstage segment, and they were just pretty funny guys, and I just laughed about them. So they were all pretty funny. So anyway, then we had Triple H addresses what Batista did to Ric Flair, and he talks about a week ago what he about last week about what he changed. So he talks about how he's been by Richard Flair's side, and talks about Richard Flair, and keeps talking about him and stuff, that he's always been by his side. That's what he talks about, and how he's not upset about it, and then he says that he's finally got his attention, and Triple H says that he finally got his attention, and that he's got Dave Bautista's attentions, and next week that they are going to face to face in the ring. Him and Dave Bautista are going face to face. That is right. So then we had a gauntlet match with Heavy Machinery, and we have the B Team. We had the B Team versus Heavy Machinery, and Heavy Machinery eliminates the B Team. Then we had Heavy Machinery versus the Ascensions, and next thing you know it, Heavy Machinery eliminates the Ascensions. Then we had the final ones was Heavy Machinery versus Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins, and then the winners of the gauntlet match was Heavy Machinery. Then we had Elias sings a song about Philly and talks about, you know how I'm in Philly, and that's what he sings about. So then the next match we had on Raw was Dean Ambrose versus Elias, and the winner was Elias. After the match, Roman and Seth Rollins come out and try to get Dean Ambrose to reunite with the Shield one last time, and then Dean Ambrose goes up into the crowd, and then next thing you know is that Baron Corbin, Bobby Lashley, and Drew McIntyre come on out, and Baron Corbin and Drew McIntyre cut a promo on the mic and talk to Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns, and then it was 2-on-3 in the ring, and then they start to beat down on Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. The next thing you know is, wait for this, they go and make the save. Dean Ambrose goes and makes the save, and next thing you know is that it's 3-on-3, and Dean Ambrose makes a save and cleans the house. They clean the house, and finally they put their fist in there, and the Shield reunite together one last time, and that is Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and the Shield reuniting one last time together. And that is happy moments right there. So then the fifth match we had on Raw was Tamina versus Sasha Banks, and the winner was Tamina. Another match on Raw was a Raw Tag Team Championship match. We had was Aleister Black and Ricochet versus The Revival. And this was for the Raw Tag Team Championships. And during the match, Bobby Roode and Chad Gable coming out, and our winners was, and still, the Raw Tag Team Champions, The Revival, due to by disqualifications because Bobby Roode and Chad Gable beat it up on The Revival outside of the ring. Then next thing you know is Aleister Black, Ricochet, and Bobby Roode and Chad Gable start to beat up on one another, start to brawl and have a fight, and that's what happens to end that entire segment. So the final part we had on Raw was a contract signing, a no harmless contract signed for Becky Lynch to sign the contract, and Stephanie McMahon talks about the Ronda Rousey vacating the Raw Women's Championship, and she brings out Charlotte Flair, then she brings out the man, Becky Lynch, and then Stephanie starts to say, she starts to, she says that at Fastlane that it will be Becky versus Charlotte, and it will be for the vacated Raw Women's Championship. So then that Becky needs to sign the no harmless contract. So then Becky signs the contract, and it is official. But then wait, all of a sudden is that the music plays, and out comes Ronda Rousey, and she talks to Stephanie and says to not vacate it, and not to vacate the title, and to give her back the title. So then next you know is that Stephanie McMahon gives Ronda Rousey back the title, and so then Stephanie McMahon gives her back the title. Stephanie says that at Fastlane, she changes the match, says at Fastlane, it is going to be Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair, and this will be Becky Lynch's last chance to get a shot at the Raw Women's Championship. And if Becky Lynch loses, that's going to be it for her. But if Becky Lynch wins at WrestleMania, it is going to be a triple threat. It will be Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch. So that's what happens there. So then, what happens next is that Ronda Rousey starts to cut an intense promo on the mic. It says that she is done with all these fantasies. She is done with everybody. She starts to say she's done with all the entertaining us and stuff like that. So then she goes out of it. She attacks Charlotte Flair, and then boom, she goes and attacks Becky Lynch, starts to beat her up, does a couple punches in the corner. And then what happens is that she does a lot of armbar locks onto Becky Lynch, and that's what happens to WWE Raw last night with Ronda Rousey putting the armbar onto Becky Lynch. And then Stephanie had an exclusive interview backstage with Charlie Caruso or something like that, and Stephanie just talks about that she doesn't regret nothing about putting the belt back on Ronda Rousey, and that this is just going to be an amazing, and that's what Stephanie says. But then the WWE Raw last night, we had Ronda Rousey pointing to the WrestleMania sign, and that's what happened. So WWE Raw last night, and I can't believe how many arm bars Becky Lynch got on herself. So, wow, what an amazing Raw this was, man. I can't believe it, man. So, anyway, once again, the John Squad, please like this video. Leave your comments down below. Oh, what you thought about this episode of Raw? I thought the Saturday Night Live guys are pretty funny being there last night. So once again, the John Squad, please like this video. Leave your comments down below and subscribe for more. Peace out, the John Squad. And when you subscribe, you become a champion here on this channel.